your favorite beverage, and she brought the career advice. Now sit back and relax while you get advice that will take you to the next destination in your career or business. And now, Katrina Brittingham.
Hello, hello, hello. This is Katrina Brittingham, your navigator on your road to success. I am here by myself again this week. Dr. Love could not make it, but we are going to be talking about an interesting topic today, and it is all about your business brand, your professional brand. Your professional brand is the most important and valuable asset that you will have when it comes to your customers. That's what they will know you by. You want your brand to be something that will stand out, something that people will put your business to that brand when they see it. Everyone knows what the golden arches is, everyone knows what the swoosh is. You do not have to tell people what it is. When they see it, it is recognizable. Okay, that is part of your company reputation. Okay, so is best understood as your company's reputation and its visibility in the marketplace. Excuse me. So let's talk about that and your brand development. So how do you develop a brand? Your brand development is the process of creating and strengthening your professional brand. Okay, as a business coach, I help businesses develop their brand. And it is divided into three different phases. The first phase is getting your brand strategy right and aligned with your business objectives. So your brand should represent what your objective is. I've had the liberty of creating different brands for different things. The first one was for Venture Ready, and it is symbolized by arrows because we help you no matter what direction you are going in your career. Whether you're just starting out your career, whether you're mid career, whether you're transitioning out of business and retiring, or transitioning from from your corporate job to a business of your own. So when people see it, it is readily recognized. After I came up with that, there were some things that I had to do to strengthen that brand so people knew what it was. Also, I have the brand with Venture Ready Broadcasting. So people see what that is. It's an online broadcasting company. So it's symbolized by a microphone. I started out with radio. And even now, I have a microphone now that I use to speak to you now. I also have the career GPS and executive GPS that also has their own branding to it, and it's recognizable, and it represents what is provided out to you as a service. Okay, so that is what we're talking about creating your brand and developing your brand. What is your objective? What do you want people to see and think about when they think about your brand? If you don't create your brand, I will tell people all the time, if you don't create your brand will be created for you by your customers. You want to have control of what your brand is. Okay. Um, yes, you want people to recognize your brand, but you want to control the narrative when it comes to that. The second is developing all the tools that you will need to communicate your brand. And we already talked about your logo, your tagline, your website, your social media sites. All of these things have to be branded properly and should be branded the same across your spectrum with your colors, with lettering. All of these things are part of your brand. When you trademark your business, that's the one thing they ask for. What's the colors in your logo? What fonts are you using? What lettering are you using? All of these things are important in your brand, in your service mark or your trademark. The service mark comes into play if you are someone providing a service. A trademark is for people who have a product. Okay. Finally, there is a phase of strengthening your newly developed or updated brand or rebrand. I went through a rebrand of my business about 2 years ago, 2 maybe 3 years ago, when I was incorporating the business coaching. I changed colors, I revamped logos and things like that to symbolize the new brand that was being put out there. Even certain things in my mission were changed. Language on my website, everything was redone and revamped for that purpose. So people knew, yes, we are still out here. We do this service, but we're adding on this service. And this is how it is going to affect the business. Okay. So your brand development strategy is how you go about accomplishing the tasks that we just mentioned earlier. To make the task a bit easier, there are 10 steps, and we're going to try to go through the 10 steps during this hour of show. If not, we will probably do a part two like we did before. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is consider your overall brand strategy. A strong, well defined brand will make your firm or your company much easier to handle. Okay. What type of company do you want? Are you planning to grow organically? The overall business strategy is the context for your brand development. So, what is the strategy that you have for your business? As a startup, or if you're growing, you want the overall strategy to be well defined. We talked about creating a business plan. That's where your information is in there, your story, your vision, your mission statement. All of these things help you as a roadmap to get to where you need to be. The clearer you are about what you want, your brand will help you get there. So you have to actually have a definite plan on where you are and where you want to go. Okay. Number two, hello, Carl, uh, on my LinkedIn page. I'm glad that this information is helpful to you. So you want to know who your target clients are. If you say everybody is my client, hmm, you have some clear work to do because everyone is not your client. You have specific clients that you are going to speak to, specific people that you are going to answer the pain points for. Okay. So I found in working with my clients, even when they say they're working with everyone, most times when we dig down, it means that they have not done the research or they're unclear on who their target audience is. Okay. And so you will struggle trying to meet everyone. You will definitely have a place of struggle. You need to focus so you can grow quicker. Okay. And so that you can grow at all. Many people fail because they don't know who their target audience is. So the more diverse your target audience, the more diluted your market efforts will be as well. And so part of having your brand is part of your marketing strategy as well. Okay. So, case in point, not everyone drinks soda. People who do drink soda like different types of soda. Okay. So, you have to know who you are speaking to, who is actually going to buy your product. Also, if you have a fine tuned niche, as they call it, for your people, you can focus your marketing efforts better and it will save you time and it will save you money. Okay. Which is big when you are an entrepreneur. So, how do you know if you have targeted the right group. That is what's step number 3, which is researching, I can't speak, researching your target group. Okay. So, how do you do that? You can go out there and you can look to understand who your prospective audience is, what the priorities are, anticipate the needs of your clients, and put messages in your language that resonates with them. It also tells you how to view your firm's strengths in the context of the current brand that you have. Okay. So we discussed a little bit earlier that I had rebranded. I rebranded based on feedback that I was getting from my prospective clients, what their needs were, what their pain points were. I did this by speaking to people. I did it also by doing research of the market. I did so by finding out what the gaps were in the market, finding out what people's pain points were. What is the thing that they're not getting from other services similar to mine? Okay, these are the things that you need to find out. Some of them I did surveys. I went into a lot of business groups and everything and did polls, did surveys, did some on my websites to find out exactly what people were looking for. And you can do it that way. They also have places where you can go for market research. Google is a big tool that you can search for those things. And I'm not going to go too deep into that, but this is what you can do to find out what you need to do. You can hire a marketing firm for your product. That could be a little bit easier because they have that information at their fingertips. You can hire a marketing firm to hit the wording because you might know what you want to say, but these people are skilled at wording things exactly the way they need to be worded. It will be your idea, will be your concept. It will even be your words, but they will polish it up for you. They will make it pop and have pizzazz. So if you have the budget for that, you can also hire someone to do that for you. Okay. Step number 4 is developing your brand positioning. Okay. So after you've done your research, after you found out what your niche is, who you're reaching, who you want to reach, who you can best service, you are now ready to determine your firm's brand positioning or your company's brand positioning within the professional marketplace or within the product that you are selling marketplace. There are many people who sell candles. There are people who sell candles within the grocery store, within chains, department stores, and niche companies who sell candles. There are different type of candles. There are scented candles. There are regular candles. You can even go to a corner store and see candles sold. But everyone has a different niche. They have different people that they are looking to service. They even come at different prices. Different people with different budgets will be looking for different types of candles. So, in that same vein, in that same stream that I just mentioned, that is where you have to, place yourself, okay? Determining what your position is in the marketplace. Are you a discount uh, place? Are you mid level? Are you high end? And if you are high end or low end, what have you done to make yourself stand out? What makes you worth more money than someone going to a department store to get a candle? Okay. And so, how your firm is different from others And you want to determine how your firm is different than others and why potential clients within your market should choose you over someone else. Because even if you're high end, there are other high end places. Why should I go to your store versus someone else's? There are some high ticket services. Why should I choose yours over someone else's? Why should I choose you over someone who is cheaper? What makes you different? How do you distinguish yourself from everyone else? For me, case in point, I know that I'm not the most expensive. I'm not the cheapest. So how do I distinguish myself? Because I provide concierge service. People can pick the services they want, and I also um, do a little more hand holding per se, where I am with them from start to finish. That's why I said I'm your navigator. When you're in your car and you get in your car and you put your GPS on, you get turn by turn directions. And that's basically the same concept that I have. We're going turn by turn, step by step, and I'm with you through the entire process. Not everybody wants that type of service. So everyone's not my client, but the people who are my client find my services valuable. So you have to determine how you market that. What distinguishes your candle from someone else's? Okay. A positioning statement is typically 3 to 5 sentences. You want to have a positioning statement in length and it captures the essence of your brand positioning. It must be grounded in reality. So please make sure that what you're saying that you can do, you can actually deliver. Make sure that what you're saying about your candle is actually what your candle does. Okay. If you have a candle that has a certain scent, make sure when somebody lights that candle, they are smelling that actual scent. You don't want to say, oh, I have an apricot candle and someone lights it and it smells like baby powder. So these are the things that you need to make sure that you do. Okay. You have to make sure because you have to deliver on the promises and the claims that you're making. When you're The worst thing that can happen is if you're expecting to get a certain product or you're expecting to get a certain service and then you walk in and the services are not what was advertised. It is going to damage your reputation. It is going to hurt your brand. Because one thing that I found, and I've been guilty of it myself, people, if you give good service, and sometimes even if you get phenomenal service, you will not have people maybe putting you out there as much as you would like. But provide poor service, that one person will tell everyone they know about the crappy service that they had. They will tell strangers on the street, don't go to XYZ company because this is how they did me. They will write a scathing review on every site that has a review of your company. They will make sure that people knew that they did not get what was promised. It may not be fair, but it is the way of life. You can give phenomenal service and never get a review at the end of the day. Or you might get a handful of reviews, but you want to make sure that you can back up what you say that you can do. It must be a bit inspirational as well. So, or aspirational, I'm sorry. So you have something to strive for. Okay. So, yes, you want to make it, somewhere where you have to reach a stretch goal to reach to. Okay. So, it's putting some onus on you, but it's also making sure that you are reaching the pinnacle of success that you want to reach. Number 5 is Develop your messaging strategy. We touched on this before, is translating your brand position into messages that target your audience. This is where the commercials come in. This is where the flyers come in. If you do advertisement on the radio, wherever it is, you want to have that consistent message of your brand. Okay. So your target audience typically includes your potential clients, potential employees. Oh, yes, your employees will be looking to see what your brand is and if it fits with them. Any referral sources or other influencers online and otherwise, and also for potential partners. These are your usual suspects that will be looking at your messaging and who you're trying to attract. Okay. While your core business position must be the same for all audiences. Like I said, it has to be the same for all audiences. Each audience will be interested in different parts of it. Okay. So I have some people who are interested for the years of experience I have. I have people who are interested because I have a whole bunch of degrees in education. I have some people who are interested in the fact that, they feel like, okay, I don't know anything about what I'm about to go into. I'm really nervous, so I need to have my hand held a little bit more. So you have people who will pull from different aspects of what your brand is and take that to where they need to be. Okay. So you want to emphasize the most relevant points of your business, of what your vision is, of what your mission is, of how you're qualified for it. If you have a product, you want to emphasize the different features of that product. Okay. Your messaging strategy should address all of the needs of the different potential audiences that will be looking at your brand messaging. Okay. So it is an important step in making your brand relevant to your niche, to your audience. Okay. So, number 6 is developing your tagline, your logo, and your name. The name that's going to be on the building, the name that's going to be on your products, the name that's going to be on your services. Okay. So for many companies, a name change may not be required if you're doing rebranding. But if you're starting out, you want to be intentional on what your name is. Does it actually reflect what you are doing and what you are selling? Does the name pop? Is the name memorable? Back in the day, the early days of me starting my business, they still had the yellow pages, the physical yellow pages. And one of the things that they had as a strategy is you wanted to be as close to the front of the yellow pages as you could be. So what did that mean? That means that, okay, maybe your company started with an A or a B or a C. Yeah, I was the rogue. Mine started with a V, which is close to the end of it. But again, I was branding towards the online community. My business, when I came out, my strategy was to have an online business. One of the things was the ease of use that I didn't work the typical 9 to 5. I was working for people who were busy, um, busy in their careers at first, busy in their businesses. So I wasn't necessarily looking for someone who would come during the 9 to 5 areas. And because I was online, I did the things that I needed to do online to make my business stand out, to make my business come to the top of um, that search when people searched. Okay, so there's a lot of behind the scenes things that goes on with that, and I did enlist the help of people who have expertise in that area. So I'm saying that to say, when you speak to people who know, they will tell you what you need to do to get your name in the face of the people that you want to have it in front of. Whether it was back in the day with the paper yellow pages, or now we're in a more electronic phase and you have Google Analytics and everything like that to put your business name up there and to be at the top of the list for your region, for um, your city, your state, things like that. So, if you are undergoing a merger, or you have a name that no longer suits your positioning, a name change may be in order for you. And that's the same thing. You still want to be strategic with what that name change is, especially if you're doing a merger and you had two different brands, maybe similar products, or maybe you're expanding and diversifying. But you would need to have a name that suited the new co that you are creating, the new company that you are creating. Okay. Um, Even if you don't have a need to change your firm name, a new logo or tagline may make sense if you're rebranding your company for the position. Okay, so we talked about earlier where I've rebranded my company. I started out with a whole different color scheme, because when I first started business, um, everyone notices my brand is in red. Red is my favorite color. Silver and red are my favorite colors. And so I wanted to have that as my brand positioning when I first started the company, because I thought it was memorable. Also, people who are looking for jobs or starting their business, things are at a certain time frame, things are urgent. So that's what I thought about. Things have changed a whole lot when it comes to branding since then. But I was told, oh well, red is a angry color. So when people see it, they're going to think about anger and aggression. Um, but so I had the colors that I had, and it was just like, oh well, if you use blue and things like that, then that's a cool, calm color and everything. So my logo was different colors. When I went to rebrand, I was just like, nope, because I saw many websites and logos that had red in it, and I was like, I want it to have the colors that I want. I still went out and did market research, and people loved the colors and everything like that. And so I went with that. Okay. It has not negatively affected my brand. It actually made my brand stand out more to people, and I started getting more hits to my website from that. So just make sure, again, when you're doing your brand colors, that you research it and see what you need to do. But even if you pick the brand colors that you want, if your messaging is great and everything else is great, everything will work out for you. Okay. So remember that your name, your logo, and your tagline are not your brand. They are a part of your brand identity, however. Okay. The ways you communicate or symbolize your brand are the logo, your tagline, and your website. But you must put life into your brand in order to make it live. Okay? Don't make the mistake of showing your new logo around internally or externally to get a consensus on what your logo should be. A lot of people do that. And I say that for two reasons. Number one is you're never going to get a consensus. You're never going to have 100% of the people say, "Oh, I love this. Oh, this is wonderful." No, and it will delay you. Number two, you run the risk of someone stealing your logo, colors and everything. I I have to tell this story. I do. When I first started doing my business and with my logo, I didn't show it around. I had created the logo, I had created the website. Yes, all that stuff I did on my own, starting out because I was bootstrapping my business, meaning that I was paying for everything, and I had a tight budget. I had my website up and everything for maybe a year, and all of a sudden, I'm searching because I do a search every now and again on myself, on my company, and everything, and another website came up, and I looked at the website, and the person had taken my brand, my colors, the way my logo looked. It was a different company name, but they had changed. They had taken um, parts of the identity of my company. And so I had to go through what I needed to go through and the channels that I needed to go through for that person to change their logo and things like that, because I had my stuff trademarked and service marked. Yeah, I did both because I was going to have products and services, and I do have products and services. And so I had to go through the legal channels, and that's one of the things that your trademark does. It helps protect you. That's why they ask you specific things about the color, the fonts, the logos, the pictures that you have in your logo and everything like that, because it protects you from people stealing pretty much your um your brand identity and even your reputation. Okay, so back to the thing. So um so your logo, your brand identity, your website and everything is for your marketplace and should be judged on how well they communicate, not how much your partners like them, your friends like them, your family likes them, so on and so forth. So when you're doing this, you have to have some confidence in what your vision is for your brand identity, for what you're trying to communicate out to people, for the logo that you have. If you love it, other people are going to love it too. And that's what you have to have that confidence with. Number 7, oops, we are at the half and actually over the half. So I'm just going to give you number 7 is developing your marketing content. Let me do this again. Develop your content marketing strategy. And we're going to come back and talk about developing your market content strategy. All right. And we are going to see you in 30 seconds.
The business and entrepreneurial world is full of talk. Talk, 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 talk. Enough. We take everything you've learned, leverage it, and give you the actual tools you need to put all the talk into your walk. Attend the conference that's all about action, strategies, and real ROI. Your executive GPS ticket includes access to seminars and workshops where you'll learn business financing, such as loans, grants, venture capital, and angel investors. Business strategies, human capital strategies, such as hiring contractors versus employees. Government contracts. Register today. www.theexecutivegps.com.
And we are back. That is the Executive GPS Conference, Leadership Conference. Yes, the Executive GPS Leadership Conference. which will be coming up in this fall. We are already in the summer months, but this is also an example. Yes, because it is my conference that I do for executives and business owners to help them get where they need to be in their company and meet where the goals that they want to meet, okay, in their company. The brand for that is tightly knit into the brand that I have overall for my business. And so a lot of times, like I said, I spoke to people who were in business and they were saying that the business world is full of talk. You know, people, oh, I'll help you, or if you ever need anything, call me. And you have some people who are like that and that will help you. But you had a lot of people who were just talking. And then you go to reach out to these people and you cannot reach them, or they're not available, or they're not so willing to help you. So the conference was developed to actually help people get where they need to be. Also, there were people who went to conferences and they said that they were actually not getting what they needed. They got um, some motivation. They got great inspirational quotes, but nothing that actually helped them in their business. When they, after they left the conference and was so fired up, and they looked at their notes and the things that were presented to them. And so, as a business coach, my job is to help businesses and people get to where they need to be and have actionable steps for them. That birthed out actually this show as well as the conference, to make sure that you have actionable steps, things that you can use to get where you need to be venture ready, to actually start stepping out on what your goal and your dream is. A lot of times when you have people who are new to anything business, authors and things like that, things can get shelved because they don't actually know how to get started, or maybe they have a little bit of fear. So we help people get through that and get to where they need to be. So, perfect example of what branding is, and speaking to that, having that commercial, having those, my language there and the content there helped bring in speakers. It helped bring in people who wanted to do this show with me as a guest. It helped me to be able to communicate out to clients. What that was, also partnerships that I've done, speaking engagements and everything like that. These this content, and it's consistent, whether it's for the conference, being a part of it, and a service that is provided, whether it is them going to the website, whether it's even for this show. All of the branding and the communication regarding what I provide is consistent, and it speaks to who it's supposed to speak to. Okay. And so that's number 7 that we were on before we went to break, which is develop your content marketing strategy. So this is content marketing, and it is well suited to professional service firms, as well as, if you have a product that you provide. Okay. In the age of being online, having the internet as a valuable tool and marketing tool for your product or service. It does all the things that traditional marketing did and does, but it does them a little more efficiently, okay, for the technological age. All right. So we talked before about traditional marketing and older things and that. And I do believe they still have a yellow pages, but it's online. Maybe, I don't know. It's been a minute since I've even gone that way. But it does everything that it's supposed to do. It uses valuable educational content. That's what this is, to attract and nurture and qualify prospects, because you do have to qualify prospects, and qualifying them means, is this a client that is suitable for the services or the products that you are providing? That is an important step. It takes you out of I service everyone, because you may not fit the need of that client, or that client just might not be the right client for you. There's nothing wrong with having a client or a prospect that just may not fit. There are ways to still make sure that this person's or this client's needs are met. Part of it is your referral services. You have a referral service as a business. You might have a client that may not be right for you, but may be right for someone in your network. That's why it's good to have build your network. We talk about building a network all the time. And one of the things of having a network is to be able to refer services. And I've had this where I refer services out and people refer services to me, where it's like, okay, this client, I have this client in, this is their needs. I'm not necessarily the right fit for this client, but you are. And I would like to refer this service out to you. That's a part of your brand too, because you want to be able to refer people out and people take you seriously and your clientele seriously, and vice versa. You want to be able to be a place where someone is comfortable referring your company out. They could have been past clients. It could have been a potential client that someone else had that they knew that you had the skills to handle and handle well. Because when someone refers you, yes, it's about your brand too, but they're putting their line, their name and their brand on the line for you to say that this person will not only meet but exceed your expectations. Okay? So remember that your brand strength is driven by both reputation, which I just gave an example of, and your visibility. Increasing your visibility alone without strengthening your reputation is rarely, if ever, successful. Okay? That's why traditional awareness building, advertising, or sponsorships is so disappointing to many. Because yes, you can get your name out there, but do you have a reputation to deliver? Do you have a reputation that your product is high quality? Okay. On the other hand, content marketing increases your visibility and your reputation at the same time. This show is an example of content marketing. This is increasing my visibility across the globe. I'm still always surprised and amazed when I get feedback of who has watched this show across the globe. But it also builds my reputation. People come back, they watch the show. I have people who tell me that they watch the show every week, and everything, and it's because of the reputation. So I've gotten clients based on them watching this show. All right. It is also the perfect way to brand your brand to your target audiences. All right. Number 8 is website development. In the age of the internet and things like that, I personally believe, and I'm going to say I personally believe because you'll have different people tell you different things, that having a website and having a well-developed website is important. Number one, when people go to search for you, they'll have a professional place to go to that represents you. Okay. Your website, in my opinion, is one of the most important brand development tools that you can have. It is a place where all of your audiences can turn to learn more about what you do or what your service provides. Think about it. Most companies or big companies or well known companies, they have a website for you to go to, from McDonald's to Walmart. Okay. So it's a place where people can go to see who you are. It'll be a place that has your vision, your mission statement. It'll have recommendations from people who have used your product or experienced your services. It will have a listing of the services that you provide or products. If you are one of those companies that have a blog or a vlog, it will house that as well. So it is a place where people can get valuable information about your company, what you stand for. And yes, please make sure that your brand identity is consistent. Um, they also will see your logo, your colors, everything about you and about your business will be on there. Let's say um, prospective clients are not likely to choose your firm based solely on your website. Some people will, because I've had that happen. But more than likely, it is not going to be the only reason why. But it can be a reason why they don't choose you. If your website is not organized, if they can't navigate your website, then they will click somewhere else. But you will have people who will purchase services, that will purchase products by going to your website, learning about it, learning about what you do, and they will click and purchase. The majority of people will not solely on that, but you will have some people who do. So you need to make sure that your website is well maintained, that it's free from any typos or errors, that when they click on a link, they don't go to a 404 error, things like that. Okay. They will rule you out also if your website sends the wrong message. And that's in the content that's written there. Or again, as I said, if you have, inconsistency in navigating the website, typos and things like that. Okay. Your website will be the home, as I stated before, of valuable content. Okay. That content will focus on your search engine optimization. That's another big thing that we will go through more in detail, possibly in another show. But the search engine optimization is one of the things that if someone searches for your business or searches for a service or product, that your website will come up in the mix, hopefully on the first page of a Google search. Okay. So these efforts um, will help you to gain prospects, potential employees, again, and referral sources. And it will help them learn about your company and the products and services that you have. Online content is central to any modern brand development strategy. So, professional services websites and websites that have products on them are in two varieties. Okay. First, it is a branding site so that your brand is there. Okay. It tells the story of your company, of the services that you have, what your mission is, what your community involvement is, etc., etc. And it conveys who you are, who you serve, and what it is you do, or what it is, what products you sell. Okay. In short, it conveys your brand's messages. The other variety does the above, but it also generates and nurtures any potential clients, referrals, etc., etc. Okay. This brings us to number 9. You want to build a marketing toolkit. Okay. The next step in the process is to build out a marketing toolkit. This includes a one-page sell sheet that describes core services and offerings, or the key markets, and I won't even say or, and the key markets that you serve. There may be even a brief pitch deck that you have that overviews your company's key offerings or products, and an e-brochure of your company. Yes, I do have all of these things. And I have it for the online network that I have, which this show is housed on. I have it for the business side that I do, and also the career services. I even have electronic business cards. I have paper business cards and I have electronic business cards because they are useful in different situations and circumstances. You want to have something that you can have if you're going to a trade show that you can print out and have with products and services that you have, so people can grab those things quickly to have the services, because not everyone is going to buy at that trade show. They may come and they may buy later. And you want to have something that you can email out to people or send to them through social media, something that you can market on your social media pages. These things are important. Okay. Because I have the virtual business card because we're in an age where things are rarely printed out as much as they were in the past. But it's good to have something that you can print out, because sometimes you do need to have printed materials. All right. So your marketing toolkit can include videos. So you can have videos on different topics. If you're in the service industry, or even if you have products, you can have a video displaying products that you have. People do that all the time. Okay. You can have case studies, or meet the partners or meet the owner videos. You can have key offerings, also of the services that you have a video that talks about that and what the benefits are to those services. If you prepare your marketing toolkit appropriately, it serves not only for business development function, but it's also important to your brand development. So you just want to make sure that, again, with everything, you want to make sure that everything is set up the way it needs to be set up. Okay. And we are on number 10, which is amazing to me because we only have a few more minutes left in the show. So I'm glad that we were able to get through it. Number 10 is implement your strategy, or implement your brand in the different pieces of it. Make sure that you track it, which I did mention before when I said I go to Google Analytics in different places just to see how the brand is working out and adjust as needed. Okay. So the final step in the brand development process may be one of the most important in all of these steps. Okay. Your brand is not going to do much good if you don't implement it out. Okay. You might be surprised how often this happens. Like I said, I have many clients who have brand ideas, people who've had logos and they were sitting for some time that they actually had the logo created, but they never implemented it. One of the things about that and the danger about that is that technology changes. And of course, your girl has a story about that. As I said, I developed my logo and my website when I first started out about a decade ago. Um, I've had to redo my website a number of times and even my logo a number of times. I had my website for maybe 3 years or something like that. And I was looking to upgrade. I was looking to have someone actually who does website development develop out my website because I had, again, did it myself. And I wanted someone professional to do it and everything. And I was like, oh, I have my logo and everything. And this. And they was like, great. Sent them over my logo. They could do nothing with it. Why? Because the technology behind the programming of that logo no longer existed. So then I had to go out and get a logo because the person who did the website development did not create logos, and get a new logo created to fit the new technology. And so when you sit on your logo and things like that, you may have spent a lot of money on that logo. Logo development can be pretty pricey. And now you've spent this money, you've invested this money, and you've never not even been able to use it. Now you have to pay more money out because technology has changed. A solid strategy is developed and started with all good intentions. It really is. Then reality hits. People get busy with client work, with family, with friends, with life, and tasks get put off, then forgotten, collecting virtual dust. That's why tracking, once you have implemented it, first step is implementing. Track it because that's important. So you want to track the implementation of your plan to make sure that you get the results that you desire, and you also want to track as you go on to see what the performance is. Did your strategy get implemented as planned? What happened with your objective measures? Did people and did you get the traffic to your website? Did you get the clientele that you were looking to get? How many new leads did you get? If you're hiring employees or you want to attract employees, how many applications did you get? How many partnering opportunities? How many speaking engagements? How many referrals did you generate? Only by tracking your entire process can you make sure that you are getting the results, the return on your investment. And that if you do make adjustments, you're making the correct adjustments. Okay, so that was the 10 steps to proper brand development. My firm does do brand development. So if you need help with your brand development, reach out to me, www.ventureready.net, and I can help you, or you can email us at info@ventureready.net. We also have a number that you can call, 888-712-4956, and we can help you get on the road to where you need to be and help you get venture ready in your business and get your brand up and running and doing what it's supposed to do for you. I do thank you so very much for joining us this week, and I will see you next week. Goodbye.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of High Tea with Me. To be a guest on the show, contact us via email info@ventureready.net. Thank you again, and see you next week.